Hey everyone, I'm Kim, the mom boss behind EmeryandK. Welcome to Back to Basics Bootcamp Tumbler Edition, where myself and two other amazing artists will be sharing weekly videos with all the best tips, tricks, and tumbler making secrets. Let's get to it. Welcome to week 7. Our theme this week is wraps, and I'm going to be showing you how to wrap tacky tape or a double-sided adhesive sheet around a tumbler. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and cut out your template. You will trim around the edges with scissors because at least a Cricut will not do adjusted depth. I think other machines do, but Cricut doesn't. So we're old-fashioned and we're going to use scissors. So the first thing we're going to do is wrap this kind of loosely around our tumbler. When I trim my templates, I always like to do them a little bit smaller than the design suggests. So this design is from Ellie's Crafty Co. It is her Circus tent design. It's so precious, but she puts measurements with her templates, and I always size mine a little bit shorter than what her instructions say because I like to have a little bit of a gap on the top and the bottom so I don't get a bunch of wrinkling. So I focus when I'm wrapping these on getting my seam correct and not necessarily having it straight around the top or the bottom of the tumbler. I do go through and sand the rim after I have a couple of coats of epoxy. If I need to tape off the bottom and repaint, I will do that as well, but focus on the seam and getting that lined up as perfectly as you can. I prefer to use these little sewing clips to hold my template in place. Alternatively, you could use tape. If you are using something like the cat scratch paper from Amazon, that has like a waxy backing on it, and if you use tape, it doesn't stick. So these sewing clips literally are a lifesaver. I started using them when I was using cat scratch tape last year, and I have just continued to use them with my tacky tape. So you see I just put 2 right on the rim, kind of evenly spaced out to hold that on nice and straight. I take my weeding tool and I'm going to carefully pull back about 1/2 inch or so of my backing, and I fold that down. Now I'm going to carefully, I picked it up to show you guys and then I kind of messed it up, so I had to reposition a little bit. So don't pick it up. But I'm going to wrap it back around my tumbler, and I'm going to do my best to make sure that my seam still looks as close to perfect as I can get it. Now I have wrapped like couple hundred cups, and it's very rare to have an absolutely perfect seam. So don't be discouraged if it's not perfect. Close enough is good enough. So now I take my little vinyl squeegee, I push it down from the center and then outside. I'm going to remove my sewing clips, and I'm going to carefully pull back my backing about 1 inch or so at a time while simultaneously carefully using my little vinyl squeegee to push it onto my tumbler. Now this one I didn't trim as short as I should have. I'm using a 20-ounce skinny. This is from Hogg, and I think I sized it for the 20-ounce skinny classic, or there's 2 different 20-ounce skinnies, and I should have sized it a little bit smaller, but it's totally fine. We're going to make it work. So I'm just going to continue to wrap around this tumbler. You can see I'm just using my hand to push it right down on the bottom. If you do get any kind of little wrinkles, just use your vinyl squeegee to carefully push those out after you've wrapped your whole tumbler in your template. Now for the moment of truth, we push it all the way down to the seam and we check it out. Look at that. This is a pretty good seam. Now, if your seam isn't perfect, don't stress about it. You can put a simple little quote decal going up the seam, and it will hide any imperfections that you have. Now, one thing I like to do is push down the bottom and the top really well, and then I like to carefully turn it a little bit slowly and look and see if I have any little air bubbles under my tacky tape. If I do, I will carefully pop them with my weeding tool and push them down. So this step is totally optional. I am just taking a little marker and I'm just putting little dots where I want my pink color to go on my tent. So you'll see as we start to glitter this, there's a pattern in the tent. It's a little circus tent. And I just like to put dots where I'm going to put colors so that I don't mess anything up. For our glitter today, we're going to be using Saltwater, Patty Cakes, and Dirty Little Secret. These are all from the Glitter Guy. Now, if I could go back and tell past Kimberly when she was picking her glitters, I would have said, girl, pick a color that is not saltwater for the sky. Saltwater is absolutely gorgeous. However, it blended a little bit too much with Patty Cakes and Dirty Little Secret. If I could go back, I would choose probably Andy's, which is a really beautiful mint pastel, but the shimmer is not as iridescent as Saltwater, so I think think it would have made the sky kind of stand out a little bit more. But it's totally fine. The tumbler still turned out beautiful. But I just wanted to be real and tell you guys, I've been making tumblers now for over 3 years, and I'm still learning and I still make mistakes. So if this happens to you, don't ever get discouraged. It's totally fine. We all do it. So typically when you are doing any sort of template like this with your double-sided adhesive sheet, you want to do your darker glitter first and then work your way through to your lightest. Patty cakes is a darker glitter than salt water, but I was trying to be kind of strategic here and do salt water before patty cakes because I was hoping that patty cakes would kind of mingle a little bit in my sky, so I would have like some little kind of spots with like pinky hues. So I really wanted this Circus tumbler to be kind of whimsical. I saw a picture on Google that was really beautiful, like almost a watercolor, like a circus-esque type picture, and I thought that is the color scheme I want for my tumbler. So I was kind of hoping that patty cakes would mingle a little bit in the sky, like I said. Otherwise, I would have done patty cakes first and then I would have done salt water. We're going to dust off our first glitter and then we're going to move right on to our next color. So this is why you'll see I did those little dots where I'm going to be putting patty cakes because the little tent has a pattern and then it has these little like half circle pieces that are like the opposite pattern. So I did this so I didn't get confused. But like I said, that part's totally optional. But I know myself and mistakes can be made. So I just like to do that just in case. So I have sped up the glitter process quite a bit because I don't think you guys need to watch this in real time. So I will put on a little bit of music. We're going to do patty cakes and then we will do Dirty Little Secret. I will go ahead and seal my tumbler. I will put on a coat or two of epoxy until it is smooth, and then I will see you for decals. Once our epoxy has cured, we're going to move on to our decal. So this decal I actually created in Procreate. It will be available as a free download. I will have it linked in the description box below. I did add a 0.03 offset to my decal in Cricut Design Space. I do have a previous bootcamp video on that if you need to learn how to do it. The offset I cut out of just white Oracal 651, and then the pink I cut out of a matte vinyl from Tech Wrap Craft. It's called Millennial Pink. I will be sure to link both of those in the description box as well. I did size my template, my decal to be about 3 inches like wide, and it fit, I think, perfectly into this space. So if you do a 20-ounce tumbler and use this decal, about 3 inches wide, and it will fit perfectly. So I am going to go ahead and apply my decal in my white space here. I'm going to center it. I'm going to kind of eyeball it. I'm not super concerned about it being centered because, like I said, it's like a perfect fit, so it's kind of hard to mess that up. Now I am going to measure my decal to make sure that it is on straight. Now I am going to use the word circus or monkeys when I measure my decal with my ruler up to the top of my tumbler to make sure it's on there straight instead of the other loopy font, because obviously you want to measure with a font that is straight across on something's loopy so that your measurement is correct. So I will get my decal on, I apply it with the hinge method like I always do, pull the backing, push it down in the middle, push out the sides, and then we'll go ahead and layer on our pink text. If you've seen my other videos, you know that I prefer to layer my text one word at a time. I did end up having to go back and recut the little offset and dots for my eyes because I lost them when I was weeding my vinyl, but sometimes that happens. It's fine. It's an easy fix. So once I'm finished layering my vinyl, I will go ahead and give my tumbler another 2 coats of epoxy and it will be finished.
I hope you found this bootcamp video helpful. If you want to learn how to do a full water slide wrap, go ahead and check out LLB Creations channel. She posted a video on Monday, and then Palebird Designs will be posting a video on Friday doing an incredible mandala vinyl wrap. It is gorgeous, so make sure to check that out. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe so you can keep up with all the other bootcamp videos. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.